This is the book of 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, verses 1 through 4. And it reads, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand. That is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors unto the head apostles of the great millstone, who do rule well and teach well. Shalom to the elders, the elder bishops, the brothers of great millstone, and those out there doing the work in truth and sincerity. Shalom. Shalom. So this is the brother Ashamath coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing, you find this lesson edifying and informative. And what you see on this screen right here, which I'll play again, I'll keep the sound off because I'm going to talk while it's playing, is prophecy playing out right before your very eyes. Uproars the people in the world. The buildup to the RFID implanted microchip, because the economic crash has to happen. And China is a testing ground for the New World Order, where a lot of these smart cities, facial recognition technologies, biometrics, 15-minute cities and smart cities have already been set up years before other countries, as well as unrighteous decrees, a social credit score, social credit system that's connected to everyday life, which is a sneak preview of what's coming worldwide. And this is a sneak preview of what's coming worldwide as well. You know, the scriptures talk about uproars of the people in the world and currency being devalued, just like it was in the ancient Roman Empire, where the Roman currency was devalued. Well, the same thing's going to happen to the modern day Roman Empire as far as America and their currency. Nothing new under the sun. You have 59 countries looking to join the BRICS alliance. You have Saudi Arabia banning the petrodollar. And this is a sneak preview of what's to happen and come to Babylon the Great and worldwide. This is the book of Matthew, the 13th chapter, verse 17. We'll start right here. And it reads, For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them. Because when the prophets received the visions in the ancient world and wrote them on tablets of stone, they weren't living in the time of those prophecies being fulfilled. Those prophecies were future prophecies to be broken down by men of the Lord in the future time. And we're living at that time, in the end of end times, where everything is being made plain upon tables. You know, who the wicked are as far as the wicked elite, who Esau Edom is by the way he's moving in the earth. He has control and grasp over the whole earth. What the RFID implant, what the MOTB is, which is the RFID implantable microchip. Who are the true servants of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and who are not, by what they're teaching. And we see the spiritual signs as well, the spiritual checklist: earthquakes in diverse places, wars and rumors of wars, America on the verge of civil war, you know, class wars, race wars, famine being set up on the horizon, the famine of the word, the great accusation, the persecution, signs of deliverance, you know, angels popping up around brothers at camp, chariot sightings and whatnot. You know, look up when you see these signs, for your redemption draws nigh, man. This is the book of Matthew, the 13th chapter, verse 17. For verily I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see have not seen them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. And to hear those things which ye hear and have not heard them. Yeah, because when the prophets will see the visions in the ancient world, they weren't living in that time for the prophecy to be fulfilled. It was a future prophecy that they were writing about. This is the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Before we get that, let's go into this information real quick. So China's banking sector is facing a full-scale crisis. Just in 1 week, 40 banks disappeared, absorbed into larger institutions. And what's happening? People are taking to the streets and protesting. They're trying to access their bank account and access denied. Well, pretty soon it's going to be that under the requirements of having a digital tag placed inside your body to show allegiance to this new world order, to the modern day Roman Empire. The beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. The 10 horns being the European Union, the 7 heads being the empires ruled by Esau, Edom. The military muscle of that system, which is the NATO. And what do you see? NATO bumping heads with Russia. NATO bumping heads with China. The Lord setting this stage. And setting this thing up perfectly. And those that have eyes to see, we see these things. And those that have ears to hear, we understand and know we're in those times. This is the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Let's get the KJV first. The book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, verses 2 through 4. And it reads, And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Write the visions of the prophecies, the breakdowns, the understanding, the prophecies, they have to be broken down in the plainest fashion that you can, so that new believers who are coming in the first hour, first week can understand. It doesn't have to be Star Trek, Deep Space Nine deep all the time. We got to go over the milk too. And when we go over the meat, we try to make it as plain upon tables as we can. So a new believer will say, aha, okay, now it makes sense. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua, we do it to the best of our ability. The book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, verse 2 through 3. And the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision, that word vision is the Hebrew word chazawan, which goes into prophecies, and we're living in a time of prophecy, prophecy upon prophecy upon prophecy upon prophecy. The Lord said he will speed up these things for the elect's sake. And ultimately what's happening? The Lord's moving in Operation Warp Speed on the right-hand side. They have their Operation Warp Speed on the left-hand side as far as the wicked elite, the United States government and the powers that be. But we have Operation Warp Speed on the right-hand side through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua. The Lord is speeding up this thing. We're already in the month of July, halfway through the year. It only feels like a few weeks. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright within him, talking about Esau, Edom. He's a proud man, but the just shall live by his faith. Yeah, and by your faith works, you're going to be delivered, ultimately through predestination from the foundation of the earth. This is the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, verse 2 in the NLT. And it reads, Then the Lord said to me, Write my answer plainly on tablets, so that a runner can carry the correct message to others. And it's very important that we have the correct message when it comes to the MOTB. When it comes to, breaking down who are those Gentiles in the New Testament. The Israelites coming into the fold who were children of those who fell away during the Greek Empire under Antiochus Epiphanes, who were forced into speaking Greek, the Greekish fashions and customs under the penalty of death. Habakkuk 2 and 4, and it reads, Habakkuk 2 and 3, For the vision is for a future time. For the vision is for a future time. And measure thou the time diligently in itself. How do you measure it? Through the scriptures. And we're living in the time where these prophecies are made plain upon tables by what's going on in the earth. Behavior, flood behavior. The Lord said that would be rampant before he returns. False doctrines, apostates, women just being in complete whoredom. Our people just completely through. Babylon the Great, a land of just complete throughness. Disgusting, vile, where morals and principles are the lowest ever. Morality and principles, and lawlessness is at an all-time, morality and principles are at an all-time low, and lawlessness is at an all-time high. Habakkuk 2 and 3 in the NLT, for the vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled, and it will be fulfilled. The Lord doesn't go out void. It seems slow in coming. It's like, I'm gonna read it again from the top. Habakkuk 2 and 3 in the NLT. The vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. Yeah, it will not be delayed. Now, let's go into this other information. So what do you have going on? Because I quoted it and I looked it up. 15-minute cities in Utah that are being built, and one is in a former prison compound. You have these Sydney micro cities, these smart cities that are being set up under the guise of peace and safety and public housing, and we're doing good for you. And what does the scripture say about Esau, Edom? When he seems to do good, I'll just get it real quick. Sirach 14 and 7. Sirach 14 and 7. And it reads, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. Because these smart cities, these 15-minute cities, are designed to entrap you and ensnare you. And you're going to have a certain device inside you to ultimately get housing in those 15-minute cities and smart cities, and to be housed and to get universal basic income, food stamps, welfare, government assistance, to have a job, to operate, to buy and sell. There's going to be a specific brand that comes with that. And this is all they build up to it. This is the book of Psalms, the 51st chapter, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. When he came and conquered, Slakia, that was the Spirit having me say it right the first time. When he came and conquered and encountered our fellow brothers, the Native American Indians, who were the tribe of Gad, the tribe of Simeon as well, so-called Dominican on the island of Hispaniola, and the so-called Seminole Indian, he was speaking smooth words. What did he do? He showed his true colors and murdered hundreds of thousands of our brothers, from the 1500s, all the way up until now, millions of them, And the Lord will not at all acquit the wicked. There's a judgment for that, for touching the apple of the Heavenly Father's eye, which is a different lesson, but hey, it's coming out, And you're going to be told of your judgment through the Spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai day by day. The hopeful elect are crying out for the Heavenly Father to bring judgment and destroy your kingdom. And he's doing it bit by bit and piece by piece, rock by rock. You're being catapulted down to the ground, your foundation, your kingdom, through this word going out. Psalms 55 and 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. And when he encountered our brothers, he made all these treaties with him, 500 treaties with the tribe of Gad, and he's broke every single one of them joints, man. That's the nature of this man. The scriptures say, trust not thy enemy. Sirach 12 and 10. This is the book of Psalms 55 and 21, Amplified Bible. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but his heart was hostile. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords, going into what Christopher Columbus wrote back to King Ferdinand. I think it's he said a number of men. I think he said, with about 50 men, I could take these guys. These people are too nice, And what happened? Reinforcements came, and then eventually the so-called Seminole Indian, the so-called Native American, the so-called Taino Arawak, the tribe of the Simeon, the tribe of Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Rican, the so-called Dominican, well, they were conquered. And that was all a part of prophecy, because Esau, Edom would have to come back into power, again, as far as the Roman Empire being revitalized, and we're living in that time, the end of that time. Now let's go and get Ezekiel 7. I'll probably get a few more wrap on up. This is the book of Ezekiel 7 and 19. And it reads, "They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because riches profit not in the day of wrath." Proverbs 11 and 4. Let's just get it. The true riches is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The oil, that can't be bought with money. Proverbs 11 and 4. And it reads, "Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death." But righteousness delivered from death. Wisdom delivered from pain, those that attend upon her. And Barakatha Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that we have that wisdom. Speaking of wisdom, we'll go back here. This is the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, verse 18. "Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, going into the universal product code system, which has a numerical value of 666. The barcode system, which is in every single one of those RFID implantable microchips. And when you take that, you can be scanned like a item at the grocery store, like an item at 7-Eleven. You become a product of this man's empire, And that word wisdom goes into the Greek word Sophia, and that Greek word Sophia goes into
Strong's G 4678, Sophia.
the intelligence evinced in discovering the meaning of some mysterious number or vision. What mysterious number of vision? Well, a major mysterious number of vision that a lot of Hebrew Israelite congregations are closed to because the Lord has blinded them is the correct understanding of the MOTB. That is something that's physical. And that's where the buying and selling system is going. That's what these people are in the protest. That's what these people are in the streets protesting for. They're not protesting because of philosophies, ideologies, and an embargo. They're protesting because ultimately their ability to buy and sell is being haltered, through the financial system, and it's going to be something that's going to be physically put in your body for you to buy and sell in the future, Let's go back. Ezekiel 7 and 19. Again from the top. "They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord." And the Lord's going to cause a famine, just like it was in the ancient world. The book of 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, gives us a vivid, idea of how bad it was. What was Jake doing? Eating dung, eating bird shit, eating each other, eating their children. And it's going to get that bad all over again. There's nothing new under the sun, That's why the Lord told those women who were weeping for him when he was carrying the cross, "Weep not for me, weep for yourselves and for your children." Because what happened? Eventually 70 AD, Titus and Division Vespasian came in and they sacked Jerusalem. They made a wall around the city basically and starved Jake out. There's a military term for it, blockade and siege, the Wadi Hal-Bashim al-Shai. Same thing that King Nebuchadnezzar did when he came and conquered Jerusalem, a blockade and siege. And that's actually one of the prophecies that's in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. The ancient Neo-Babylonians did it, and then the Roman Empire did it. Titus and Domitian Vespasian. And the modern day Babylonian, the modern day Roman is going to do it all over again. This is the book of Ezekiel, the 7th chapter, verse 19. "They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai." They shall not satisfy their souls, neither lift their bowels, because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity. Yeah. Money has been the ruin of many. Look at these other Hebrew Israelite congregations who are teaching this bullshit. Just call a spade a spade. They do it for the love of money. Super chats, being gloated around and being celebrated, becoming these, cult of personalities for the praise of men, for federal government assistance and tax breaks. And what do you see? Just damnable heresy upon damnable heresy upon damnable heresy. That's end time prophecy. This is the book of Sirach, the 31st chapter, verse 5. And it reads, he that loveth gold shall not be justified, and he that followeth corruption shall not have enough thereof. Yeah. He that followeth gold shall not be justified, nor satisfied as well. The scriptures say, for the love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money, because money is a defense. You got to have money to survive in this society and go about your business so you can do this work. But ultimately, the love of money, lusting after money, physical fiat currency that has no real value to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Labor for the riches which perisheth not. And the scriptures say, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of times. And Baruch the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And if you read that in the NLT, it actually goes into a beautiful interpretation. Isaiah 33:6. And Salaki, if I rambled, sometimes that happens, but Lord willing, you were edified. Isaiah 33:6 in the NLT, and it reads, in that day, he will be your sure foundation, providing a rich store of salvation. NIV, New International Version. Isaiah 33:6, he will be the sure foundation for your times, a rich store of salvation and wisdom and knowledge. A rich store of salvation and wisdom and knowledge. The fear of the Lord is the key to this treasure. The fear of the Lord is the key to this treasure. Now, I mentioned it. Let's just go into it. This is the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter. Verses 16 through 18, right to the point. And he causeth all. That word causeth is the Greek word poeo. And this is a part of and he causeth. The elite work under a system which is called order ab chaos, order out of chaos, because they create the chaos and they put the news articles out, and the propaganda machine works, and then through that order and chaos and propaganda, better yet, they're able to establish their order as far as the ordinances that they want, the laws that they want, the unrighteous decrees that they want, through order out of chaos, and the wicked elite control the media, which goes back to medium, which goes back into witchcraft, sorcery, mind games, basically, mind control. That's what government goes into, mind control, Revelation 13:16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, because that's what eventually these banking crashes and crises are going to lead to. And the CBDC, well, that's a preview of what's to come, because the World Economic Forum and the wicked elite, they've said that they want to have surveillance under the skin, and you had certain other guys out there that said the CBDC is going to be something that's actually going to be physically put inside you. We'll just wait to see how that plays out. But that's ultimately Esau, Edom, letting you know, where this thing is going. The scriptures say they shall stumble upon their own tongue. Psalm 64:8. Basically, he's going to tell on himself because he's that proud. Revelation 13:16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor. That's everybody in the oikumene sense. The hour of temptation which come upon the whole world. Revelation 3:10, that word world is oikumene, which is everybody. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. That word mark is something that's physical. It's something that's physical. Every single idol that we've had to bow down to show allegiance to an empire, a king, so on and so forth, it's all been carnal, you know? And there's nothing new under the sun. These nations are not spiritual, so they can't implement anything that's spiritual, you know? It's always going to be carnal, you know? The Lord is the only one that can put a spiritual mark on you, not man. Revelation 13 and 17. And we're looking to get that spiritual mark, the spiritual mark of exemption from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You know, that seal from the king. Revelation 13 and 17. And that no man may buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Yeah, because eventually that's where it's going to go. And no man can buy or sell. And once again, I've said this a few times, but the Spirit is having me say it again. The math isn't mathing, but what you guys are teaching outside of Great Millstone and those that follow the apostles, as far as teach the same doctrine, you know, as far as the system being set up to buy and sell with philosophies, ideologies, and embargo, that's not being set up in grocery stores and in these supermarkets and so on and so forth. But we know what is being set up, something to recognize something in your forehead or something to recognize something in your hand, as far as to open up doors at these grocery stores, to open up the items at Walmart and so on and so forth. And if you go into a lot of these places like Target, Walmart, a lot of the items are locked up. You know, the items are locked up, and you need an assistant to bring out a key to open up those items. That's social programming, you know, social engineering. And some of those places that I just mentioned, especially like 7-Eleven and these like little convenience stores, they have something set up to recognize something in your head or something in your arm or something in your forehead or something in your forehead or something in your hand. You know, there's some little thing on the side that reads something with a little hand, as far as a drawing or an image of a hand. What do you think that's for? You know, put one and one together, it always equals two. The math isn't mathing what you guys are saying and teaching, but what's going on in the earth and what's being played out in real life. You know, the math isn't mathing. Revelation 13 and 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 603 score and 6, and his number is 603 score and 6, going into the universal product code system, which you can be scanned, you know, like a item at a grocery store. And that's what this is going to lead to. That's what this all leads to right here. You know, that's the end game as far as on the left-handed side. That's Esau Edom's last trick, you know, one of his last tricks in his magic hat. So that's pretty much it. I'll get 2nd Ezra 9 and 1 through 4 again. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And how do you measure the times? Through what's written in the Holy Scriptures and looking at what's being played out in the earth. You know, oh, I see wars and ruins and wars. Okay, that's in Matthew 24. Uprisings of the people. That's in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. I see the MOTB and that technology being pushed, the anti-cause. That's Revelation, the 13th chapter. The damnable heresies. Well, that's the book of Jude. You know, the apostates popping up. That's what the Apostle Paul was constantly warning of. Men teaching damnable heresies, false doctrine, and many following their promiscuous ways. You know, the gathering of the hopeful elect. The book of Amos, the 9th chapter. You know, the Lord building up that third temple, the spiritual temple, the spiritual ark, and him slowly but surely closing the doors on that ark. You know, the famine of the word, the great accusation. You know, all things written about in the Holy Scriptures, which gives us comfort, knowing these things. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before. When thou seest part of the signs pass, you have to have eyes to see, you know, and ears to hear. The Lord has 2/3 of our people blinded, pursuant to the book of Isaiah, the 6th chapter, until the missiles come. The book of 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, verse 2. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And the highest is visiting this place. Can't you see? But what's going on the earth? The Lord is visiting this place. You know, Hurricane Beryl, the heat wave, and eventually the real heat wave that's going to hit this place, which is thermonuclear fire, man. Via the Russians, via all those European nations, those NATO nations who are going to turn their backs on Babylon the Great and America's enemies. And rightfully so, you know. This is 2 Ezra 9:3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, and we have earthquakes at record numbers, and uproars of the people in the world like crazy. You know, from people protesting this juicy juice a few years ago, the banks collapsing, you know, bank runs throughout the earth in these past few years because several banks are collapsing. You know, people protesting the government and their unrighteous decrees. The yo jabba jabba passports that people had to get, you know, and people protesting the banks crashing. People protesting the small hats, all these colleges around, all these colleges, and these young people and these students. You know, that's a George Soros funded operation, but still, it's still protests, it's still uproars of the people. 2 Ezra 9:4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. How did he speak of those things? Through his messengers, you know, his prophets, his men who are here in these last days. Let's prove that with the precept. We'll close on out. Lord willing, you find this lesson edifying and comforting. Matter of fact, let's get Matthew 13-17. Again, and it reads, for verily, verily means truly, I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see and have not seen them. Yeah, when the apostle John the Revelator, was on the island of Patmos, when he seen the vision of the MOTB, he wasn't living in that time, you know. But now we're in that time and we see that technology, and he calls it being rolled out. Esau, Edom being proud as fuck, man. Pardon my Persian. You know, speaking these great swelling things, you know, speaking proud things. We don't need the Heavenly Father. We can make our own God. We'll rewrite the Bible in AI, you know. We'll make our own reign. You know, the Bible is hate speech. There's radicalists out there with dangerous opinions. You know, we need to de-opinionate people by throwing them in these centers and deprogramming them mentally. You know, put this on your brain. It can make you. It'll re-opinionate you. You know, we need to basically come against people who are speaking out against climate change. We need to fight climate change with the CBDC. And you have those who are going to be blinded, you know, and ultimately not see it, and those who will see right through Esau, Edom, and be calling him out, you know, telling him his ways to his face. And to hear those things which ye hear and have not heard them, and to hear those things which ye hear and have not heard them. Yeah, you know. And we hear these things, man, and see these things. And because we're living in the time of prophecy being fulfilled, man. I was going to get another precept, but I lost it. This is Revelation 11. Revelation 18. There's one in 11, I believe, too. This is Revelation 11. Yep. This is Revelation 11. Let's start with 17. And it reads, saying, we give thee thanks, O Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, power almighty, which art and was and art to come. Wow. Because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and has reigned, who art and was and art to come, you know. And that's what we're prophesying of, the Lord's return, you know. The Yahweh Shai is of old, you know. He comes in the volume of the book. He's the first spirit. He's the first spirit created, you know, who is here basically, and was, is of old, and is to come, the beginning and the end. You know? Sure, saying, slack it. Revelation 11 and 18, slack it. Saying, we give thee thanks, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Power Almighty, which art, he is here right now, you know, where two or more are gathered in the midst thereof, or two or more are gathered in the name, I am there in the midst thereof. Who was, Yahweh Shai is of old. I think that's Micah the 5th chapter, you know, of old. I want to make sure, of old. Might be Psalms. I am of old. Oh, Psalms. No, Proverbs. I think it might be Psalms. It's in the Old Testament. 8. Might be 8. All right, let's go to Micah 5. Micah 5. It's in the Old Testament for sure. Yeah. Yep. Micah 5 and 2, the Wadi Habashimashai, but thou Bethlehem Ephrathah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, because the Lord sprang out of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel. He's going to rule with a rod of iron, man. You know? Whose goings forth have been from old. Whose goings forth have been from of old, from everlasting. This is the book of Revelation, Revelation 11 and 17, saying, we give thee thanks, O Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Power Almighty, which art and was and art to come, because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and has reigned. Revelation 11 and 18 is the point. And the nations were angry. Esau Edom's pissed. This word's coming out, man. You know? Foaming at the mouth. And thy wrath is come, and the time of thy dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants and the prophets, and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name. There goes the name. Small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. And we're living in that time. And the signs of that time, as far as the end of that time, are all here. And this is one of the signs. Uproars the people in the world. So with that, I'm going to close on out. Lord willing, you were edified and informed, and Lord willing, comforted by this lesson. And in closing, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Madash, double honors to the head apostles of the great millstone who do rule well and teach well, Shalom, to the elders of the great millstone, the brothers out there doing the work in truth and sincerity. To you I say, Shalom, wa, ba, ba, ba. Shalom. Shalom.